Talk BeneVETS. I'm Kat. We're back out here on my farm. I definitely have a rooster walking around who really wants your attention, and I'm apologizing in advance for his behavior. We had a drive-by from a butterfly. All right. So this episode, we're going to talk about life insurance and the survivor benefit plan. Now, this is targeting those of you looking at retiring soon, and hopefully you'll be able to pass the information on to your junior troops so they can make better decisions than we make. So here's the way I look at these things. There are different options for those who have and have not planned ahead. Of note, I did not plan ahead. It's one of the reasons why I looked into this so much, because I didn't understand how many options I had cut off from myself a long time ago. I do only have one dependent and 0 spouses, so I went with the SBP and VGLI, which is the Veterans Group Life Insurance. And yes, those are the expensive options. They were also my only options. So by the time I retired, I had enough documented injuries and issues in my record that no other life insurance was going to accept me. So although VGLI is expensive compared to normal life insurance policy, they cannot deny you. That's why I also took SBP. Although the deduction for my kid is much less than for a spouse, I still wouldn't have done it had I had the option to get a higher value life insurance policy. Now, what I should have done was have gotten a whole life insurance policy when I was still young, felt immortal, and was healthy. Of course, I did not. Had I done that, though, my premiums would have been much cheaper, while the value would have been much higher. Oops. I want to talk about the purpose of SBP for a minute, because I hear it getting badmouthed a lot. Now, there is a potential that you can lose a significant amount of your retirement pay for your spouse to get 50% of your retired pay for life. SBP does, however, make sure your family has income coming in if the veteran passes away first. Depending on who dies and when, it can either be a great or a terrible investment. There are tax implications as well. It will reduce the taxes on the veteran's pension, but those SBP payments are taxed when they're paid out. So, every family has different circumstances, and you really need to weigh what risk you're willing to accept when you're making this decision. How big is your thrift savings plan account? Do you have other investments? Is your home paid off? Does your spouse have a career that can support them? There's no right answer here, but having the discussions before you're staring at that DD form and having to make that decision, that's a really good start. In summary, the sooner you start looking at your options here, the more options you actually have to meet whatever financial goals that you have. There are other things that play into this as well, and we'll be talking about dependent benefits through Big VA later on. Today's trivia piece is a word still used today, bamboozle, which means to deceive. So back in the day, could be yesterday, could be a couple hundred years ago, Navy history, it's a little vague. Back in the day, when a ship flew the cloth of a different nation, then it would say to bamboozle those who were observing it. And who did this? Who would fly a flag from a different country than where they actually came from? Pirates. The right answer is almost always pirates. Anyway, have questions, comments, or your own military trivia that may or may not be true? Drop them below while you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. Have an idea for an episode? Reach out via our new Facebook page or shoot a note to letstalkbenevets@gmail.com, and have a fine Navy day.